Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome back to Night Fever Podcast, your fan-led podcast following everything Auckland FC. Today, it's a match review of Auckland FC's 1-0 victory over Sydney FC at Go Media Stadium, a vital A-League encounter that saw the Black Knights take all 3 points at home. This was only Auckland's second win of 2026, and an important one at that. With the table heating up and the final spots in sight, we're going to run through a pre-match build-up, the lineups, match action in both halves, individual performance reviews, match statistics, and finally some takeaways for both teams moving on to the next games. So let's get into it. Going into the match, both teams knew that the stakes were high. Auckland, after a somewhat disappointing run of form, looking to get back to winning ways off the back of the previous match loss to Perth Glory. Sydney also looking to carry momentum following their strong win in the Sydney Derby versus the Wanderers. Auckland coach Steve Corica had publicly stressed the need for more focus at the back after late goals had cost us in recent matches. Meanwhile, Sydney head coach Ufuk Talay, he was aiming for his first victory over Auckland, a feat that the Sky Blues have never achieved in our short history. There was some late squad news as well. Auckland signed goalkeeper Jimmy Hilton as backup after the injury to Ollie Sale, reinforcing the depth between the sticks. Auckland fans were buzzing on the day, even a bit apprehensive, but historically the Black Knights and Sydney have had some tight contests. Auckland held a slight edge in head-to-head results. The lineups, we saw Michael Val back in the team following being dropped to the bench and due to the injury to Ollie Sale. So he was restored to the starting 11. We saw Hiroki Sakai at right back. Dan Hall partnered with Gertwood Reich. Gertwood Reich replacing Peinecker, who picked up an injury in the previous match. Francis de Vries, who has started every Auckland FC A-League match so far at left back. In midfield, Louis Verstraete and Gallegos teaming up. Out on the right, we saw Jesse Randall. On the left, Mali Francois came in for, I think, his only second start this season. Lockie Brook in the number 10 role in behind Big Sam Cozzy. For Sydney FC, they went with a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 type formation. Goalkeeper Harrison Devonish Myers, a very experienced goalkeeper in fine form at the moment. I think he's leading the way in the A-League saving statistics. The defence was made up of the likes of Ryan Grant and Victor Campuzano pushing forward at different times. Joe Lolly entered as a substitute later on as he continued his comeback from injury. Compared to recent weeks, Auckland retained much of their core but shuffled a few roles due to injuries. The scene at Go Media Stadium saw a nice, warm summer's day. A crowd of approximately 13,000 spectators packed into Mount Smart. It was a passionate mix of fans and supporters eager for a win. And the Sky Blues fans, in their small numbers, credit to them for coming along, were ready to back their side. The terraces were rocking from the first whistle. The Port had their big tifo out, and the Auckland fans were all loud, proud, and chanting for their team to take control of this one early. The energy would prove crucial. In the first half, Auckland looked aggressive right away, pressing Sydney high and playing with intensity, controlling possession early. But it was Auckland who delivered the first big moment. In the 20th minute, Auckland struck Sam Cosgrove, finished from close range after a glitched scramble in the box following a long throw and cross sequence from De Vries, giving the Black Knights a 1-0 lead. It was Cosgrove's 7th goal of the season, taking him to joint top goal scorer. It was a moment where the stadium erupted, but Sydney did respond, trying to build from the back and they dominated possession. They held more of the ball, 63% to Auckland's 37, quite dominating, but they couldn't turn that into clear-cut chances. Standout players for the first half: Sam Cosgrove for his finishing and hold-up work, Francis de Vries for his influence on the wide play, and Michael Vow organising the defence early. Sydney's best attempts came from a few dangerous balls into the box, but the Black Knights' backline held firm. Into the second 45, and Sydney turned the pressure up. They came out with an urgency, dominating the possession with an intent of finding an equaliser. More passes, more time in the final third, but not enough quality in the decisive moments. Sydney struck a post late on, and Harrison Devonish-Myers made several good saves. Auckland had a few decent counters, with substitute Guillermo Mai coming close twice, almost doubling the lead. He hit the woodwork from distance. Mai came on for the injured Brook. Brook got injured early in the first half, but Mai seemed a little bit off the pace. His touch was heavy, and he couldn't convert some good quality chances. Standout players in the second half: Michael Vow, some crucial saves to keep the clean sheet. Cosgrove up front, he kept the threats coming and also put in a good shift defending. Sydney's creative players, they had their moments, but too often the final ball was lacking. And the final score was Auckland FC 1, Sydney FC 0. A gutsy defensive display and clinical moment got the job done. Michael Vow in goal. He made two very good saves which kept us in the lead. Quite crucial in getting us the 3 points. Hiroki Sakai solid at the back, offering his experience. Some nice touches on the ball, opening up the Sydney defence. Dan Hall and Peinecker had a good partnership, good stability and link-up play from the back. Francis de Vries at left-back, crucial in the lead-up to the Auckland goal. Louis Verstraete in the mix of things in midfield, winning a lot of balls and transitioning defence into attack. Gallegos teaming up well with Verstraete. Randall out on the right with his pace, getting in behind some defenders, but some poor final touches. Marley Francois, a decent game from him. Good to see him back in the starting lineup. Hopefully he can build his confidence and build upon that. We saw Lockie Brook injured in the first half. We saw him replaced early by Guillermo Mai. And Sam Cosgrove up front scored the goal and constantly a threat. A quick look at some Sydney FC players. Goalkeeper Devonish-Myers, several good stops, and unlucky with the goal he conceded. Without him, the score could have been a lot more comfortable for Auckland. Ryan Grant, he worked hard down the right flank. Campuzano and Quintal, dangerous in pockets but lacked final quality. Joe Lolly, he came on and offered some experience in the second half. The match statistics, a surprising one, but Auckland FC only achieved 37% possession to Sydney FC's 63. Shots, 25 for Auckland, 16 for Sydney. On target, 8 for the home team, 4 for the visitors. Pass accuracy of 71% for Auckland and 79 for Sydney. An XG of 1.63 for Auckland, 0.29 for Sydney. Goalkeeper saves, 4 for Michael Vow and 6 for the Sydney keeper. Corner kicks, 3 for Auckland, 7 for Sydney. And completed tackles, 14 for Auckland and 10 for Sydney. Auckland were clinical with less of the ball, while Sydney dominated possession but couldn't turn it into goals. So takeaways and looking forward, what does this mean going into the next matches? For Auckland, it's a great result, back to winning ways after a tough spell. Big confidence boost going into the next fixture. Vow's performance could give Corica stability in goal, and there's still work to be done on ball retention and transition when under sustained pressure. For Sydney FC, their performance had positives: more possession, creativity at times, but a lack of finishing cost them. The coach will be looking for better in the final third and sharper decisions under pressure. They'll aim to convert territory into goals next time round. Well, that's it for today's Night Fever review. A big win for Auckland, 1-0 over Sydney FC at Go Media Stadium. We'll see how both teams respond in their next fixtures. If you've enjoyed today's breakdown, make sure you subscribe, hit like, and leave a review. I'll be back next time with a match preview of Auckland's next game, so don't miss that one. Until then, up the ports, up the Black Knights. Goodbye for now.